What you say to yourself shapes your entire life. There exists in our world today a remarkable truth, so powerful yet so simple that once understood, it can transform your entire existence. I call it the strangest secret, and it rests upon this fundamental principle. We become what we think about. Think about that for a moment, my friend. The person you are today, your achievements, your circumstances, your very life, is the direct result of the thoughts you've held most consistently in your mind. Your thoughts are like seeds planted in the fertile garden of your consciousness. Every word you speak to yourself takes root, grows, and eventually bears fruit in your experience. Now, here's something truly fascinating. Look around at the people you know. Notice how only about 5 or 6% seem to achieve remarkable success and fulfillment. Why is that? The answer lies not in talent or opportunity, but in the way these people direct their thoughts. While the majority allow their minds to dwell on fears, limitations, and problems, these exceptional few consistently focus their mental energy on possibility, growth, and achievement. Your mind works much like a garden. The thoughts you plant today determine what you'll harvest tomorrow. Negative thoughts about yourself. I can't do this. I'm not smart enough. I always fail. Are like weeds that choke out possibility. Positive, affirming thoughts. I am capable. I find solutions. I improve each day are the seeds of a rich and rewarding harvest. Lesson 1. The Strangest Secret. I'd like you to try something remarkable. For the next few minutes, conduct what I call a thought inventory. What words do you say to yourself most frequently? What ideas occupy your mind when you're alone? Are you planting seeds of doubt and limitation, or seeds of confidence and possibility? Be honest with yourself. This inventory may reveal why certain areas of your life haven't flourished as you'd hoped. Here's my challenge to you. Embark on a 30-day mental diet. For 1 month, consciously monitor and direct your inner conversation. When negative thoughts arise, and they will, gently replace them with positive alternatives. Instead of this is too difficult. Try figuring this out, step by step, rather than I'm too old to start. Say my experience gives me unique advantages. Remember, this principle operates whether you're aware of it or not. The words you say to yourself are shaping your destiny right now. As I've often said, whatever we plant in our subconscious mind and nourish with repetition and emotion will one day become reality. This is not wishful thinking or mere positive psychology. It's a fundamental law of human achievement that has been recognized by great thinkers throughout the ages. The Bible puts it simply, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." Your life changes the moment you take control of your internal conversation. The words you speak to yourself are creating your future. Choose them wisely, nurture them carefully, and watch as they transform not just your thinking, but your entire life. Lesson 2. The Magic of Belief. My friends, there exists in our world a force so profound, so transformative, that it has built empires, crossed oceans, and even touched the face of the moon. This magnificent power is not hidden in some secret vault or reserved for the privileged few. No, this power exists within you at this very moment. I'm speaking of belief, that magical ingredient that transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. When a human being truly believes something is possible, they have already traveled halfway to their destination. Consider the 4-minute mile, once thought to be an impenetrable barrier of human achievement. Medical experts claimed the human heart would burst from the strain of such an attempt. Yet in 1954, Roger Bannister not only believed it possible, but proved it so. The magic lies in what happened next. Within just 46 days, another runner broke the same barrier. Within 3 years, 16 more runners had accomplished the same impossible feat. What changed? Not human physiology. What changed was belief. The barrier existed purely in the mind. The same principle operates in your life today. Your beliefs are quietly determining your outcomes with the precision of a master architect. The thoughts you hold with conviction become the blueprint of your reality. This is not mere philosophy. Modern science confirms this through countless studies of the placebo effect, where patients experience real physical improvements simply because they believe they will. Look at your life right now. Are there areas where you've decided, perhaps unconsciously, that success is beyond your reach? Have you built mental barriers as formidable as that 4-minute mile? These limiting beliefs are nothing more than thoughts you've practiced so often they feel like truth. The wonderful news is that beliefs can be changed. Just as a gardener selects which seeds to plant, you can choose which beliefs to nurture. Begin today by identifying one limiting belief that has held you back. Perhaps you believe you're not good with money or not creative enough. Take that thought and consciously replace it with its empowering opposite. Speak this new belief aloud each morning and evening. Visualize yourself already embodying this truth. Act in ways that support this new belief, even when your old programming protests. Remember, all you need is the plan, the roadmap, and the courage to press on to your destination. This practice of belief building is not a one-time event, but a daily discipline. The greatest achievers in history maintained unwavering faith in their vision, despite temporary setbacks or skepticism from others. Your belief must be stronger than the doubts of those around you. My friends, make no mistake, what you genuinely believe about yourself and your possibilities will ultimately express itself in your circumstances. Belief is the magic that transforms the landscape of your life from barren to abundant. Plant wisely, nurture diligently, and watch with wonder as your life begins to reflect the magnificent power of what you truly believe. Lesson 3. Your attitude determines your altitude. A man was once asked why he seemed so consistently cheerful. His answer was profound in its simplicity. I have discovered I have a choice every morning when I wake up. I can choose to be pleasant or unpleasant. I choose to be pleasant. I choose to be pleasant. My friends, in all my years of studying successful men and women, I've discovered that attitude is perhaps the most critical factor in determining not just how high you'll soar, but whether you'll leave the ground at all. Your attitude is the lens through which you view everything. Your work, your relationships, your challenges, and your opportunities. What exactly is attitude? It's your mental position, your way of thinking and feeling about people, things, and events. It colors everything you experience. Two people can face identical circumstances. One sees opportunity while the other sees only obstacles. The difference isn't in what they're looking at, but in how they're looking at it. Each morning when you rise, you make a choice, perhaps the most important choice of your day. Will you approach life with enthusiasm and expectancy or with dread and disappointment? This choice doesn't just affect how you feel. It determines what you'll accomplish. Consider what I call attitude economics. A positive outlook literally has financial value. Employers will pay more for it. Customers are attracted to it. Colleagues are inspired by it. A Harvard study found that optimistic salespeople outsold their pessimistic counterparts by 56. Your attitude isn't just a personal matter. It's a business asset. But perhaps most remarkable is the ripple effect your attitude creates. Like a stone dropped in still water, your attitude sends waves outward, affecting everyone around you. A single person with an enthusiastic outlook can transform an entire office, family, or community. Conversely, one negative individual can poison the atmosphere for everyone. The wonderful truth is that your attitude isn't fixed or inherited. It's a choice you make and a habit you develop. Start small, begin each day with gratitude for what you have, rather than focusing on what you lack. Speak words of possibility rather than limitation. When facing difficulties, ask, "What can I learn here?" instead of "Why is this happening to me?" Make a study of optimistic people. What do they read? How do they speak? What do they focus on? Then begin to incorporate these practices into your own life. Remember, we naturally move toward what dominates our thoughts. Monitor your self-talk carefully. When you catch yourself saying, "I can't" or "It's impossible," immediately replace these phrases with, "I'll find a way" or "I'm figuring this out." The words you speak to yourself are powerful. They either lift you up or hold you down. Our attitude toward life truly determines life's attitude toward us. The world responds to us largely based on the attitude we project. It's a mirror reflecting back what we send out. When you approach life with enthusiasm and confidence, you'll find that doors open, opportunities appear, and people respond favorably. Remember this: circumstances don't determine your altitude in life. Your attitude does. Choose wisely, for that choice will shape everything else. Lesson 4. The canvas of possibility. Imagine, if you will, a beautiful canvas spread before you, pristine and untouched. That canvas represents your future, and the paintbrush in your hand is your imagination, perhaps the greatest gift you possess. This is the truth that has shaped the destiny of every great man and woman who has ever lived. Your imagination is not merely for daydreaming. It is a powerful tool of creation. When you close your eyes and see yourself living the life you desire, you are not engaging in idle fantasy. You are beginning the process of making that life real. This is a profound secret understood by achievers throughout history. Consider for a moment the Wright brothers, standing on the sand dunes of Kitty Hawk. Before their flying machine ever left the ground, they saw it soaring in their minds. Thomas Edison imagined a world illuminated by electric light, when others were content with darkness. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. described his dream with such clarity that millions could see it too. In each case, imagination preceded reality. Your life today is largely the product of what you imagined possible yesterday. The home you live in, the work you do, the relationships you enjoy. All began as pictures in your mind, and what you will become tomorrow depends on what you dare to imagine today. Let me ask you a simple question. What would you attempt if you knew you could not fail? Close your eyes and truly see it. Is it a business you would start? Is it a business you would start? A book you would write? A family life filled with love and harmony? Whatever it is, see it with crystal clarity. What does it look like? How does it look like? How does it feel? What sounds and scents surround you in this vision? This is not mere fancy. This is your mind working as it was designed to work, as a creator of possibilities. When you vividly imagine your desired future, you program your subconscious mind to recognize opportunities that will help bring that future into being, doors that were invisible to you before suddenly appear because you've trained your mind to see them. The distance between your vision and your current reality is merely time and applied effort. That gap will be crossed by taking action based on the blueprint your imagination has created. Without the blueprint, your actions lack direction. Without action, your blueprint remains forever on paper. Many people live small lives because they cannot see beyond their current circumstances. They look at what is and assume it is all it can be. But you, armed with the power of imagination, can see beyond the present moment to what could be. This vision will sustain you when obstacles arise, as they surely will. Remember always, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. This is not a catchy phrase. It is a fundamental truth about how human achievement works. Your imagination is the canvas of possibility upon which you paint your future with the vibrant colors of thought, belief, and expectation. Take time each day to step away from what is and envision what could be. In the quiet chambers of your mind, build the life you truly desire. Then, with that vision firmly planted, step forward with confidence to make it real. The greatest masterpieces always begin as a picture in the artist's mind. Lesson 5. The Law of Cause and Effect. My good friend, if there's one principle that governs all of human existence, it is the law of cause and effect. This immutable law operates with mathematical precision, whether we acknowledge it or not. Like gravity, it doesn't require your belief to function. It simply is. Everything in your life right now, your health, relationships, financial situation, and happiness, is the direct result of causes you set in motion through your thoughts and actions. This is both sobering and tremendously liberating. As I often remind my listeners, you are and you do what you think about most of the time. Consider the farmer who plants corn in the spring. Would he expect wheat to grow by summer's end? Of course not. Yet in our personal lives, we sometimes expect prosperity while planting seeds of laziness, or respect while sowing disrespect toward others. The universe simply doesn't work this way. The remarkable thing about this law is its absolute fairness. It plays no favorites and makes no judgments. It merely delivers with perfect precision the results that match our input. A man who consistently thinks thoughts of courage will develop a courageous character. A woman who persistently speaks words of gratitude will find her life filled with things to appreciate. Now there's an important factor many miss: the delay between cause and effect. This gap often confuses people. They might eat poorly for years before health problems emerge, or speak negatively about colleagues long before finding themselves isolated at work. This delay leads some to believe they've somehow escaped the consequences of their actions or thoughts. Think of it like this: if you were to begin studying a new language today, you wouldn't expect to be fluent tomorrow. Yet the seeds of fluency would be planted, and with consistent nurturing, would inevitably grow into the desired result. I encourage you to develop what I call causation awareness, a daily practice of recognizing how your current thoughts and actions are creating your future. Ask yourself throughout the day, what am I planting right now? What harvest am I setting up for tomorrow? When you truly grasp this principle, you'll never again waste energy blaming circumstances or other people for your conditions. You'll recognize that while you may not control all external events, you absolutely control your response, and that response becomes the cause of your next experience. The magnificent promise of this law is that by changing the causes, beginning with your thoughts and words to yourself, you can change any effect in your life. Start today with the awareness that your words create worlds. Plant good seeds through positive self-talk and watch as your life transforms before your very eyes. That's the wonder and the promise of the law of cause and effect. Lesson 6. The miracle of directed effort. There's a strange and wonderful miracle that happens when you direct your efforts with purpose. I call it a miracle because so few people ever discover it, yet it's available to every single one of us. This miracle transforms ordinary people into masters of their craft and average achievers into extraordinary successes. What is this miracle? Simply this: focused quality effort applied consistently over time produces results that appear almost magical to those who don't understand the principle. Most people scatter their energies like buckshot, touching briefly on many activities but mastering none. They mistake busyness for productivity and motion for achievement. But the real power comes not from how much you do, but from doing the right things with complete concentration. Consider this truth: just 1 hour of completely focused effort each day, directed toward your most important goal, can revolutionize your life within a remarkably short time. This one, our principle, has created more success stories than almost any other single practice I know. Mozart, Einstein, and Franklin all understood this secret. It wasn't that they had more hours in their day, but that they used their hours with extraordinary focus. The human mind, when concentrated on a single purpose, develops a power that is almost beyond calculation. It cuts through problems that defeat scattered thinking. It attracts resources, ideas, and opportunities that otherwise remain hidden. Yet, in our modern world, we face an enemy of unprecedented power: distraction. The average person today is interrupted every few minutes by notifications, messages, and the constant pull of divided attention. This is why those who develop the ability to eliminate distractions and work with pure concentration hold a tremendous advantage. To harness the miracle of directed effort, you must first organize your goals in a clear hierarchy. Not everything that matters can matter equally. Ask yourself, what one achievement would make everything else easier or unnecessary? This becomes your North Star, guiding where your best hours and energy should flow. Remarkable achievements rarely happen through sudden breakthroughs. They come through the compound effect, the consistent application of small improvements that accumulate into extraordinary results. Like interest in a bank account, directed effort compounds over time, creating returns far greater than the initial investment. A small stone thrown into a pond creates ripples that eventually reach every shore. Your focused daily efforts work the same way, sending waves of impact far beyond what you can initially see. Never let the thought of how long something might take prevent you from beginning. Time passes regardless of how you use it. 5 years from now, you will arrive at a destination. The question is whether it will be a destination of your choosing, created through your directed effort, or one you drifted to by default. The miracle awaits those with the courage to direct their efforts toward what truly matters, day after day, regardless of immediate results. This is how ordinary people accomplish extraordinary things, not through dramatic action, but through the quiet power of focused, persistent effort. Lesson 7. Words that transform reality. The words you speak to yourself are perhaps the most significant force in determining your destiny. I've often shared with audiences across the country that we quite literally become what we think about. But let's take that one step further. We become what we consistently tell ourselves through our internal dialogue. Think about it, my friend. Every day, from the moment you open your eyes to the time you drift off to sleep, you engage in a continuous conversation with yourself. This silent dialogue may seem insignificant, but it's actually shaping your very existence, moment by moment. Words have power, tremendous power. They are the building blocks of thought, and thought is the architect of your life circumstances. When you say to yourself, "This is too difficult," or "I'll never succeed at this," you're not merely making an observation. You're issuing a command to your subconscious mind, which accepts these statements without question and begins working to make them your reality. Your mind doesn't judge whether your self-talk is helpful or harmful. It simply responds to what you tell it repeatedly. If you habitually use phrases like, "I can't afford it," or "I'm always so unlucky," these become your programming. And just as surely as night follows day, your life experiences will align with these declarations. The good news, however, is that this same principle works magnificently in your favor when you deliberately choose empowering words. When you say, "I can handle this challenge," or "I'm becoming better every day," you set powerful forces in motion. Many great philosophers and spiritual teachings have recognized this truth. In the beginning was the Word, says Scripture, and in your beginning, the start of each day and each endeavor. Your words are creating the world you will inhabit. I encourage you to conduct a simple experiment for the next 7 days. Listen carefully to your self-talk. When you catch yourself using disempowering language, immediately substitute it with words of possibility and optimism. Instead of "this is a problem," say "this is an opportunity." Rather than "I'm tired of this," say "I'm learning from this." This isn't empty positive thinking. It's a practical application of a universal law. The words you use literally reorganize your brain's neural pathways. Scientists have discovered that our brains remain plastic, changeable, throughout our lives. Your self-talk creates physical changes in your mind, which in turn create changes in your actions and, ultimately, your circumstances. Remember, words are tools, not truths. Choose them with the same care you would use in selecting any instrument for an important task. The carpenter who uses poor tools creates inferior work. Likewise, the person who uses poor language constructs an inferior life. Today, begin treating your words with reverence. Recognize them as the creative forces they truly are. Guard yourself. Talk as you would guard the most precious treasure, for in truth there is no greater wealth than a mind programmed for success and fulfillment through the consistent use of empowering language. Lesson 8. The echo chamber of your mind. Each of us lives within an echo chamber of our own making. Every thought, every whispered word to yourself reverberates through the chambers of your mind, gaining strength and substance with each repetition. This is perhaps the most important room in your mental house, where passing thoughts become beliefs, and beliefs become the very architecture of your life. Consider the remarkable truth that our minds don't distinguish between what we tell ourselves and what others tell us. A criticism from within often cuts deeper than one from without, and praise from our own lips can lift us to heights that external compliments rarely reach. The words we speak to ourselves are like seeds planted in the most fertile soil imaginable. I have observed throughout my life that men and women who achieve greatness share one common trait. They speak to themselves with extraordinary care and intention. They understand that the phrases "I can't" or "it's too difficult" are not mere expressions of momentary doubt, but powerful commands to their subconscious mind. Your brain is like the most sophisticated recording device ever created. It captures your self-talk with perfect fidelity and plays it back as the soundtrack of your life. The question we must ask ourselves is simple, but profound. What record am I creating for myself each day? What messages am I recording that will shape my tomorrow? Let me share with you a technique used by champions in every field. Before they face a challenge, they rehearse success in their minds, accompanied by words of confidence and capability. I am prepared. I am equal to this task. I have what it takes. These aren't empty platitudes, but rather precise instructions to the subconscious mind. The tragedy I've witnessed all too often is watching capable men and women talk themselves out of success. Who am I to try this? People like me don't achieve such things. Such phrases, repeated daily, form chains that bind potential more securely than any external obstacle ever could. Your internal dialogue creates a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you continuously tell yourself that you're too old to learn a new skill, your brain will diligently work to confirm that belief. But change your words to "I grow more capable each day," and watch as your mind marshals evidence to support this new truth instead. The good news is that you hold the key to this echo chamber. You can change what's being repeated. When you catch yourself in negative self-talk, stop and deliberately replace it. Don't fight the negative thought. That only gives it more power. Instead, gently but firmly substitute a more productive message. Remember, what matters isn't whether your self-talk feels true in the moment. What matters is whether it serves your growth and happiness. Truth follows belief more often than we realize. Tell yourself you're becoming more patient, and patience will grow. Tell yourself you're becoming more successful, and opportunities will appear that you might otherwise have missed. Your words to yourself are powerful beyond measure. Choose them with the same care you would use in selecting the foundation materials for your home. For indeed that is precisely what they are, the foundation upon which your life is built, one thought at a time. Lesson 9. The Voice Within You. The most important conversations you will ever have are the ones you hold with yourself. I've often said that the average person will speak enough words in a lifetime to fill more than 1,200 novels of 400 pages each. Yet, how many of those words do we direct inward? And of those, how many build us up rather than tear us down? Your inner voice is the narrator of your life story. It runs continuously, like a river flowing through the landscape of your mind. Most people allow this voice to run wild and unchecked, letting it whisper doubts, fears, and limitations. You can't do that, it says. You're not smart enough, it claims. That's for other people, not for you, it insists. But what if I told you that this voice is not your master, but your servant? What if you discovered that you could train it, direct it, and transform it into your greatest ally? The magnificent human mind doesn't know the difference between what is vividly imagined and what is real. When your inner voice speaks, your subconscious accepts those statements as commands to be carried out. "I always mess things up" becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. "This is too hard for me" becomes an unscalable wall. Consider the child learning to ride a bicycle. The parent runs alongside, offering encouragement. "You're doing it. Keep going. You've got this." Imagine if instead that parent shouted, "You'll probably fall. This is too difficult. You should give up now." How tragic that would be. Yet this is precisely what millions of people do to themselves every day. Your inner dialogue creates your outer reality. It's that simple and that profound. Begin today to listen carefully to what you say to yourself. Keep a small notebook with you for one full day and jot down the phrases you catch yourself thinking. You may be shocked at how often your own thoughts work against your happiness and success. Now here's the wonderful truth. You can change this inner conversation. You can become as encouraging to yourself as the loving parent with the child on the bicycle. When you catch a negative thought, don't fight it or feel guilty about it. Simply replace it with its positive counterpart. I can't do this becomes I'm learning how to do this. This is too difficult transforms into this is challenging, but I'm growing stronger. I'll never succeed shifts to I succeed at what I persist in. Repetition is the mother of learning. The grooves in the record of your mind have been carved over decades. They won't be replaced overnight. But with patient, consistent effort, your inner voice will become your greatest cheerleader rather than your harshest critic. What you say to yourself matters more than what anyone else could ever say to you. Guard those inner conversations carefully. Feed your mind with words of possibility, capability, and determination. Speak to yourself as you would to someone you deeply love and believe in. For when you change your inner voice, you change your entire life. Lesson 10. The power of your inner voice. One of the greatest discoveries in human history wasn't made in a laboratory or on some distant frontier. It was made in the quiet chambers of our own minds. This discovery is simply this: the words we speak to ourselves determine the quality and direction of our lives more powerfully than perhaps any other single factor. I've observed throughout my years of study that successful people maintain a vigilant awareness of their inner dialogue. They understand that the voice inside their head is either building them up toward achievement or tearing them down toward mediocrity. There is no neutral ground in this most personal of conversations. Consider for a moment what you've been saying to yourself today. Have you been your own greatest ally or your most formidable opponent? The average person speaks to themselves in ways they would never permit another to speak to them. They doubt their abilities, question their worth, and remind themselves of past failures rather than possibilities ahead. This inner conversation creates a blueprint that your life obediently follows. Just as a builder cannot construct a magnificent cathedral without precise plans, you cannot build an exceptional life while your inner voice whispers that you are undeserving or incapable. The magnificent instrument of your mind accepts these instructions without question. The good news in this realization is that you possess complete authority over this voice. You are both the speaker and the listener in this most intimate exchange. Unlike other areas of life where circumstances may limit your control, here your power is absolute. Begin by simply noticing your patterns of self-talk. When faced with a challenge, do you immediately encourage yourself or forecast failure? When looking in the mirror, are your comments kind or critical? This awareness alone will reveal patterns you may have never recognized. Once aware, you can introduce new language into your inner world. Instead of, "I can't handle this," substitute, "I'm finding ways to manage this situation effectively," rather than "I always mess things up." Try, "I'm learning and improving with each experience." These aren't merely positive platitudes. They represent a fundamental shift in how you instruct your subconscious mind. The mind doesn't judge these statements for their accuracy. It simply accepts and acts upon them. This is why affirmations, when used correctly, can be so powerful. They aren't magic. They're a practical tool for reprogramming the inner voice that shapes your action. This isn't about denying reality or pretending difficulties don't exist. It's about framing challenges in ways that empower rather than discourage you. The successful person doesn't ignore obstacles. They simply speak to themselves in ways that maintain confidence in their ability to overcome them. Make no mistake, changing your inner dialogue requires persistence. You've likely been speaking to yourself in certain patterns for decades. But just as a river, over time, carves a new path through solid rock, your consistent efforts will create new mental pathways that lead to greater achievement and fulfillment. Your inner voice is continually broadcasting instructions to every cell in your body, every aspect of your behavior, and every dimension of your performance. By consciously directing this broadcast, you take command of the most powerful creative force in your personal universe. What will you choose to say to yourself today? Lesson 11. The greatest gift you can give yourself. The most precious gift you possess is not something you can hold in your hand or lock away in a vault. It's not something that can be purchased with any amount of money or traded on any exchange. This gift is the power of your own self-respect. Self-respect begins with the words you whisper to yourself in those quiet moments when no one else is listening. These are the most important conversations you'll ever have. When you speak to yourself with dignity and kindness, you lay the foundation upon which all other success must be built. I've observed throughout my life that men and women who achieve greatness share this common trait. They refuse to speak poorly of themselves, even in jest. They understand a fundamental truth that escapes many. The subconscious mind accepts whatever we tell it, repeatedly, as fact. It cannot distinguish between a harmless joke and a serious declaration. When you call yourself stupid after a simple mistake, your subconscious registers this as truth, not as the casual self. Deprecation you intended. Consider the difference in these internal dialogues. One person makes an error and thinks, I always mess things up. I'm so careless. I'm so careless. I'm so careless. Another makes the same error but thinks, that's interesting. I made a mistake there. I'll be more careful next time. The first person plants seeds of continued failure. The second plants seeds of improvement and growth. Your brain is the most sophisticated computer ever created, and your words are the programming language that determines its output. Would you deliberately install viruses in your computer? Of course not. Yet many of us infect our mental operating systems daily with negative self-talk that corrupts our performance. I once met a young salesman who couldn't understand why he consistently failed to meet his quotas. During our conversation, I noticed something revealing. Before each call, he would mutter, "This probably won't work anyway." He was programming failure into each interaction before it even began. When he changed this habit to saying, "This next call could be my best one yet," his results transformed within weeks. The quality of your life follows the quality of your conversations with yourself. Make a decision today to speak to yourself as you would to someone you deeply respect and genuinely want to help succeed. Eliminate phrases like, "I can't," "I'm not good at," or "I always fail at." Replace them with, "I'm learning to," "I'm improving at," or "this time I can." Self-respect isn't pride or arrogance. It's the quiet dignity of knowing your inherent worth as a human being with unlimited potential. It's treating yourself with the same courtesy and encouragement you would naturally offer to a dear friend. Tonight, before you rest your head upon your pillow, give yourself this gift. Speak words of affirmation and possibility to yourself. Acknowledge your efforts, forgive your missteps, and commit to your growth. Then watch as these words, planted in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind, begin to blossom into a life that reflects the highest and best that is within you. This is your birthright, to speak life, giving words to yourself and to reap the magnificent harvest they will inevitably produce. Lesson 12. Your words, your world. My dear friend, I'd like to share with you one of the most powerful truths I've discovered in my journey through this remarkable life. What you say to yourself shapes your entire destiny. Yes, it's that simple and that profound. Words are not merely sounds or symbols on a page. They are the creative forces that build the architecture of your existence. When you speak to yourself, you're not just passing time with idle chatter. You're literally programming the most sophisticated computer ever created, your magnificent mind. Consider for a moment, have you ever truly listened to yourself? The average person speaks to themselves at a rate of about 150 to 300 words per minute, and most of this inner conversation goes unmonitored. Like a gardener who pays no attention to what's being planted, many of us allow weeds of doubt, fear, and limitation to take root in the fertile soil of our consciousness. But you are different. You've come to understand that this inner dialogue is the foundation upon which your entire life is built. When you say to yourself, "I can't," you've just placed a barrier in your path as solid as any brick wall. When you whisper, "This is too difficult," you've just drained away the energy you need to succeed. But when you boldly declare, "I am capable," or "I will find a way," you summon resources within yourself that had previously lain dormant. Children understand this instinctively. Watch a young child at play saying, "I am a superhero," or "I am a doctor," and in that moment in their world, they truly become what they've declared. Somewhere along our journey to adulthood, many of us lost this magnificent power of declaration. The good news is that this power never actually leaves us. It simply awaits our conscious direction. Begin today with this simple practice. Listen carefully to what you're telling yourself. When you catch yourself using words of limitation, gently but firmly replace them with words of possibility. It's not about false positivity. It's about aligning your words with the truth of your potential. Your subconscious mind accepts whatever you tell it with absolute faith. It doesn't argue or question. It doesn't argue or question. It simply acts on your instructions. When you repeatedly tell yourself you're capable, creative, and worthy, these qualities begin to manifest in your daily experience. Words create worlds. This isn't mystical thinking. It's practical psychology. The language you use forms the lens through which you see everything. Change your words, and you literally change what you see and experience. As we conclude our journey together, I leave you with this thought. You are always just one sentence away from a completely different life. The next words you speak to yourself could open doors you never imagined possible. Choose them with the care they deserve, for they are crafting your tomorrow. Your words are building your world, my friend. Make them magnificent.